Hey everyone, I'm on a hike and I'm really into gardening. So some of you have seen my previous gardening videos, and I just wanted to point out an example of good erosion control practices and just kind of industrial or large scale, city scale erosion control, and what it could teach us about erosion control in our own yards and on our own properties. Let's take a look here and you'll see what I mean. All right, everyone, check this out. So here I want to point out some erosion control that the city has done right there, as you can see. But to see what that really is, let's talk about, do you know anything about erosion? So let's take a look at this hillside. So look at these hills, right? There's grasses, natural grasses on these hills. So there's natural erosion control, even kind of, can you see on the bottom of that hill area down there? So down there, past this line right here, where there's a hill and nothing's eroding because there's natural grass. There's hills all over and there's natural grass. And so when you have hills and pure dirt with no roots inside, really no grasses with the roots, you may have erosion. So they put this tarp on. Now check out what they did back to, like, I don't know, 20-30 years ago here. They have this other hill, they have a few of these like this, and you could see that they cemented it. It's like some kind of concrete substance. See, it's not, they decided to use cement instead of a natural approach. Maybe this was in the 80s even, I don't know. I think it looks nasty. Thank goodness they moved past that and they're no longer doing that. Look at these hills, right? So you would expect erosion if there was a natural shrubbery and a natural greenery to prevent that. But look over here. See this hill? But if we keep going past this area, we could see that. Let's take a look here. We can see that. See, this is like a concrete area. It's kind of concrete. Literally, it's concrete. It's hard as a rock. It's not sand. See, it's not like coming up. And so that's nasty. We don't want that. So obviously we'd want something that has much better, something that's more natural, obviously. So let's take a look at that. I'm sliding through here, okay? So let's take a look. Okay. So what they did in this area was more modern. They just did this year, and it's obviously more appropriate and more reasonable. They did some major work on this hill, and this entire hill was basically bare, the entire thing. And it's the fall now, so potentially, there has been rain. So if you had a lot of rain, you would have a lot of erosion here, as you can see. But very smartly, what they did was they put this tarp, and it's preventing pretty much most of the erosion. Over the course of like 3-4 years, it's going to prevent the erosion until this natural shrubbery starts coming up and kind of building into the hill, basically, just like the rest of the hill. See, so this is way better than the concrete approach. That's nasty, and you don't want everything concrete, obviously. And check it out. Look, things are already starting to come up. And you're basically, a few years in, you're gonna have a bunch of greenery, and then you're gonna have this tarp slowly dissolve and slowly decompose, and you'll have a nice hill. So this is erosion control on a massive scale. Clearly they needed a physical barrier for this, right? Clearly this is not something where you could just plant some ryegrass, some perennial rye, and then have it pop up. Although potentially, if you had enough of it, you could, but then you'd need to water it through the summer. It'd have died out in the summer, which is not desirable. So this is a very interesting approach, and it shows you how important erosion control is, right? It shows you how important erosion control is. And the things we do for our yards and to make our yards nice are the things that cities want to do to make sure hills like this don't just erode all the way down and become muddy, nasty pits, not pits, but muddy, nasty areas on the bottom there. So we're continuing with this tarp. This is a niche video, clearly, for those that are absolute gardening nerds like me. But as you come up to the end of this, you could see we're getting into the old school natural shrubbery and grasses. Now, obviously, you're not going to have great, like, perfect coverage like you would if you put seed down, if you put Kentucky bluegrass seed or Bermuda grass and let it spread, or even perennial rye, although perennial rye doesn't spread. But you have natural grasses there, and you're going to have those here across this kind of area here over time as well. So this is kind of the hill where they put the tarp, and they wanted to prevent the erosion control until the natural grasses come in. So you don't need absolute coverage. You don't need total coverage for this. What you need is a reasonable amount of coverage. As you can see, most of the natural areas don't have absolute coverage everywhere. They just have enough seed and enough roots that are preventing some erosion. Yeah, this is me nerding out. Okay.